as usual. So it's Magnus with the white pieces against Anish Giri. Anish, as we know, one of the best, if not the best played, best prepared players in the world. And Magnus does not choose a sideline, but he goes for the Catalan, which he also played in the match. I think he once played the pure Catalan, and then he once played d4, knight f6, knight f3, d5, g3. So he's been dabbling with it. He also played against Yesipenko in the World Cup last year. And Anish goes bishop e7. But, oh no, I can actually, once again, very freely play at ignorance. I don't know anything about knight a3. I know stuff about queen c2, which probably isn't very surprising. This was played in the match. And I know some things about knight e5, not necessarily from the match. But knight a3, I know very little. I know that you're supposed to take it and now go bishop d7. I played knight c6 once against Romanishin, but it's supposed to be less good. So I think bishop d7 and then knight e5, bishop c6 is supposed to be fine for black. a4.
Yeah, that's the position, yeah. But Magnus just blitzes out a4 and... yeah, this is quite confusing, and well, the immediate temptation here is to say that, you know, he probably should hang around Dubov a bit less, because like, how are we winning this pawn back after bishop c6? So I take on g2 and go knight c6, I suppose.
Looks perfectly fine for black to me.
Yeah. I mean, we're probably not better, but I
Rook c4,
don't see...
knight e5, take everything. Maybe this is a line, I don't know. But rook c4, hang on, we can grab material.
e5 check wins material, right? So, yeah, queen c2.
Judging by the speed, Anish might not have been surprised by this a4 move, which I think is meant as a surprise. Knight e5 is what you usually do here, as far as I know. You play queen c2. What now?
He played queen c2 very quickly.
Then rook e1 and e4, yeah?
e5, maybe we go rook e1, yeah, whichever rook. I don't know which one is stronger, but I'm guessing rook e1, yeah. You know, you can't explain even after talking it out for 5 minutes. It is potentially something that might be very interesting and you might learn something. But so far, yeah, I don't quite know what is the intention here. Yeah.
Why would you do that?
It was hot. It was extremely hot.
But yeah, white sneakers. Then people don't have to take their shoes off anywhere anymore.
Yeah, rook ac1 play by Magnus. And Magnus still obviously playing a tempo. He knows this stuff. This might not even be a gambit, right? Because you're kind of running out of moves a little bit with black. Useful moves, that is.
Saying bishop d5 never makes sense because you get
rook f1, yeah,
is coming.
Yeah, it's a bit strong, but
probably didn't miss queen takes c4. But usually, if people say blunder, it means he didn't play the first computer move.
Yeah, that normally is the explanation. Yeah,
and yeah, he did take a lot of time. a6 played, I guess, threatening b5. Magnus took. Knight b6, similar to what we talked about with the pawn on a5. It's once again queen c2, or maybe...
The suspicion has to be it's queen c2 specifically, right?
Looks very logical.
Yeah, bishop a4, queen c7 has to be pretty unpleasant. Unless we can catch that rook, but we probably cannot, right? Takes. Hang on a second, can we? Takes, and we go...
When queen c3, saying, please take with the knight, I'll even give you a tempo. Or please move this knight.
Yeah, this is an interesting choice, yeah. Definitely better in case of bishop takes a4, but yeah, there are so many additional options now. Knight e4 we genuinely don't like very much though, right? Because after queen c2 you might be in trouble because knight e5 is...
Looks like the most natural, but then after knight b6, what's the big move?
Yeah, we're kind of back to what we're discussing.
Taking,
I don't believe in the exchange sacrifice, and without the exchange sacrifice, I'm not quite sure where we're getting here. Yeah, I think that's probably...
Queen b3 played.
On the subject of options for black, is queen d5 playable here? Or does that lose some material to either rook c6 or knight somewhere?
No,
I don't quite see, like, knight d5, queen b5, right? I don't actually lose material. Do I?
Here we go.
Talking about Anish, yeah, he probably didn't like that position very much. There's really one explanation for not playing knight b6 there, I think. And that is the exchange sack. So our current thinking here is knight h4, right? I like it better than knight e1, I think. Keeping the rooks connected feels useful.
We have action in the Carlsen-Giri game. So let's jump straight to that. Peter, we left it after queen d5, and we had already figured out with the help of the chat and some engines that rook takes c6, queen c6, knight e5, queen b5, queen c2 was interesting. And that is indeed on the board. So Magnus sacrifices an exchange and a pawn, but has some threats now.
Yeah, it seems like it might be a temporary sacrifice. I can't figure out a way for black to keep the material. Yep.
Looks like Anish might have gotten lost in this briar patch here and went knight to d5, which is not approved by.
Yeah, apparently bishop b4 is very strong, yeah? I guess queen a5 and then queen c3 against anything, right? Well, by anything, I mean knight c4 specifically. I'm sure you can find moves against which I will not want to play queen c3, but rook b1 played.
Looks forced.
Yeah, queen a5 will be the reply.
And yeah,
this
bishop d5 played.
Yeah, we'll find out in a moment because Magnus played bishop d5 completely wrong.
He played ed. Why was it completely wrong? Just rook b7, yeah?
Just rook b7, and we just don't see any defense against the combined threats. And he might be back to being completely lost, right? Queen f5, I assume, or anything, honestly. It looks like this should just be made, right? It just doesn't seem like a defensible position with all the pieces white has in attack. Queen e1 check, king g2 doesn't really add very much to your options either.
C3 we can take.
Yeah, we can just take. I don't think this does very much, yeah.
Computer says something like minus 0.10, which maybe is the price to pay for getting position. But let's have a look at what happens now.
He played c5. Yeah, I think he just gets
c5
made
on the board. And according to Peter Svidler, queen f5 checkmates here.
Even though knight d5 drops the evaluation by 4 pawns.
It's different than missing.
Yeah,
I mean, no, like
g3, c6 or g3 d takes c3 is also like just sort of inexcusable.
Anish has played queen d8 in the meantime.
Yeah, just dc here. I think we've discussed this, right? dc kind of forces you to play.
This is the line.
Oh, this is just completely.
How winning is this? This is fairly over, right?
Yeah, c7 and just get the knight to d6 and or e7, yeah, wherever. Yeah, this is, yeah, but king h8, you probably have to go back.
Seems somewhat pointless.
Yeah, I think this is very strong, but completely unplayable once again because dc5 is just so obviously winning. Yeah. So why would you ever do that? And he has played dc5. The one thing you have to realize here, I guess, I mean, like the one variation you have to count is something like queen e8, queen takes d5. And once you realize this is completely winning, you no longer really have to count. Hang on, knight c3 though. Is it completely winning?
I spotted checkmate. Check. Doesn't work, unfortunately, because you can take.
Yeah,
I was very happy.
I actually found a way to improve on that, but I don't know if it worked. Like I wanted to suggest queen d5, provoking
without the check. Yeah? Queen d5, knight
provoking
c3,
knight c3, and going at h6 and bishop b2.
Knight c3. There's a bishop on b2, but shades of this position are on the board. Bishop b2, d4.
Yeah, I think Chad was suggesting bishop e7 was even stronger for some reason. I don't quite understand why, but
also here it's not about winning quickly, but about winning surely, which probably Magnus will have.
Yeah. Just
anyway, Anish resigned.
Yeah.
No point continuing.
Yeah, I think the opening is actually interesting enough to make it a possibility because I think postmortems in Vike as well have sort of become a rarity. It's not like they never happen, but they happen much less often than they used to. But this was a fun enough game until it suddenly wasn't to perhaps merit analysis. Because I honestly, I don't think Magnus knew very much about the position after. I think he actually worked out much of it over the board. From the timings, my suspicion is he perhaps was surprised by a6 and had to think from there on. And then, because obviously if like everything up to rook takes e6 and queen c2 and the rest of it is just in his files, he'll just tell Anish afterwards, and there's not much point to discuss it. But if they both had to think over
what are files?
What?
Yeah, no, I agree with everything.